to eat, then you know it's time to wrap up the news review. But we cannot do that without talking about Jubilee. Now, 4 Jubilee Nairobi governor aspirants have started negotiations in what appears to be a bid to lock out former Gatanga MP Peter Kenneth from the Jubilee Party ticket. With Kenneth's impending entry into the Nairobi race, the 4, who include Johnson Sakaja, Dennis Waweru, Mike Sonko and Margaret Wanjiru, now insist that the Jubilee candidate for governor and running mate should come from among the 4 of them. Let's see the story.
I've grown up in Nairobi, I've grown up in Bahati. So it really doesn't matter. I think a Kenyan can run anywhere.
The expected entry of Peter Kenneth into the Nairobi governor race continues to cause jitters, with the latest murmurs coming from 4 of the aspirants eyeing the Jubilee ticket. At a Nairobi Jubilee campaign team meeting today, the 4 held talks and appeared to close ranks.
Katika hao wanne, tumesema governor wa Nairobi atatoka hapo. Na tutasikizana na tutasupport mtu mmoja sisi wote, na tutahakikisha pia tutakuwa na senator kutoka hiyo team ya Nairobi, tutakuwa na deputy governor.
The 4 who attended the meeting include nominated MP Johnson Sakaja, Dagoretti MP Dennis Waweru, former Starehe MP Margaret Wanjiru and Senator Mike Sonko. All apparently jolted by what they believe is the impending declaration by Peter Kenneth that he will join the race for Nairobi governor, potentially on a Jubilee ticket. They are keen to brand Kenneth as a late entrant seeking to reap from their struggles with the party since the 2013 campaigns.
I think we're very clear in our minds that come 2017, as we move the way we are moving, that the governor of Nairobi County is amongst us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kenneth has already indicated he is moving to Jubilee after being criticized for not dissolving the Kenya National Congress Party.
I will resign as a member of the political party I belong to. And as a matter of fact, I've given that resignation to the Registrar of Political Parties.
But he is already facing an uphill task should he declare his interest in Nairobi, now facing not an individual to seek the party's ticket, but a team that is strategizing on how to lock him out. Hussein Mohammed for Power Breakfast News.
Well, what is happening within Jubilee, and we'll start with you, or probably end with you so that you can defend the party position. Yes, let's start with Bwana Chris Wamalwa. Whatever happened to Bwana Eugene Wamalwa when he declared interest in this seat, the same kind of a resistance we're now seeing with Peter Kenneth.
I want to tell the honorable members, Sakaja, Dennis Waweru, Bishop Margaret Sonko, they should read the Constitution. Everybody is entitled to run as long as you're registered as a voter, not even necessarily where you come from. And someone like Peter Kenneth, he has actually been brought up in Bahati. I think they are fearing because, you know, they are lightweights. And they're seeing this guy coming and he has what it takes. So he's actually a threat to them. And they should know that Kenyans should have a variety of choices. First of all, they did the same thing to Honorable Eugene Wamalwa, who is actually a stronger candidate than all of them. So they're just seeing a candidate in Peter Kenneth being stronger than them, more appealing than them. So they are getting threatened. And by doing this, by the way, they're campaigning for Peter Kenneth. Peter Kenneth has a right. And it's not a matter he should dissolve his party. He has actually put it clearly. He has resigned from that party. The letter is with the Registrar of Political Parties. Then he has moved to Jubilee. So he must be ready to go for the nominations. So let them go and convince the people. And by the way, it is very misleading to come on the media and say that the governor must be among themselves. Where is Evans Kidero? Kidero is there and is going to get this position of governor of Nairobi in 2017. Who tells them that this seat belongs to Jubilee? As far as I'm concerned, that seat belongs to court. And Evans Kidero is going to take over for the second term as the governor of Nairobi. So they should know where to focus.
I agree that to start off, the governor of Nairobi is going to be Kidero. I think that one, you see, you cannot wake up and say you're going to be governor and then you've been running, you've been what you call aspiring candidate for the last 6 months, then you declare yourself as the only anointed people that can only be 4 of you, as if the seat is vacant. The seat, and in court, we know that when the current governor defends his seat, court will support him, and I'm sure he's going to win the seat. Now, on to the story that we've just had, that is how they're going to lose it, even in Jubilee. Because you can't come back and say now, it can only be us. it tells you the kind of politics that are playing. I'm so unhappy with my friend and colleague in KYPA, Sakaja. Because I think it represents something different from what he's talking about. It represents a country that gives opportunity to everybody else. So if you're going to gang up 5, 6 of you and say it's either us or nobody, then you've lost it. The Jubilee candidate for governor Nairobi will be a gentleman called Peter Kenneth. They have to live with that. Yes, they must live with that.
You see, these people are outsiders. You know, we Nairobians, and he knows that I'm a Nairobian. Yeah. I can confirm.
You're no longer from Emmanuelia.
Of course, I'm also from Emmanuelia, but I vote in Nairobi. Yes. In fact, among all these people here, I'm the only one who is going to vote in Nairobi. These people don't vote in Nairobi. I vote in Dagoretti North at Nairobi Primary School, which is just a short distance from where I am. And I can tell you that we are now starting to see a beacon of hope. I'm usually ambivalent, but only where Americans are concerned. When it comes to Nairobi, I'm no longer ambivalent. I'm very decisive. We saw Peter Kenneth growing up in Bahati. We saw him going to Uhuru Bahati Primary School and going to Starehe and to other good institutions of learning. We know that he has an unblemished record, whether you are thinking about him as running the Kenya Insurance Corporation or whether he's running football in Kenya. In fact, when he was running football in Kenya was when Gor Mahia won the Africa Cup Winners' Cup. And the only time that Kenyan teams rose to that kind of glory. We know about his record in Gatanga. This is the one gentleman who is now eminently qualified to be the governor of Nairobi County. Not these masqueraders. Some of them we have even had their academic credentials questioned. They are professors here from the universities. They can tell us whether they saw some of these people there. Of course, they were born after we had left university, so I can't speak about that very much. But we are hearing that some of them even registered for masters when they were in second year, and that they got some people to do their thesis for them at undergrad. Now, when you come up as people to gang up, when you gang up, the correct name for you is gangsters. Yeah, when you gang up, because you belong to a gang, yeah, and so you become gangsters. But it's an expression of fear, because they have seen the right person whom we Nairobians would once again be willing to support across party lines, across ethnic divide. And I think Peter Kenneth should not be afraid. We grew up with him in Nairobi, and he understands this city.
Okay. Well, you see that kind of ganging up against one candidate instead of welcoming him and probably looking forward to the nominations.
Yeah, one thing which is coming out clearly, when we in Jubilee see that CORD does not know who is their flag bearer, the reverse is happening in Nairobi. In Nairobi, CORD knows who the flag bearer. Jubilee doesn't. In our approach as Jubilee, anybody who is running on a Jubilee ticket should be campaigning for the president, the election. President Uhuru Kenyatta. Yes. So when I saw this, my 4 colleagues in a press conference, I thought they are closing the board for the other people who are also vying for the same position and also supporting the president. What I was hoping they would do is wait until we have got the full list of interested people, say, okay, fine, we are a team, we are 6, 7, 8, 9, all campaigning on a Jubilee ticket, we are going to go the nominations, but whoever wins is going to be supported by the others. That one should have happened. But when they go and say, now we are only 4 of us, we have closed the board, nobody can come in, I think that's something we as Jubilee must address and a system to come up with a more accommodative formula. Peter Kenneth has just expressed an interest to vie for the seat. Not even Nairobi, has he? He's not even said he's Nairobi, he's running. He has hinted he's going to run in Nairobi.
No, we want him to run in
Nairobi. In Nairobi. But you see now, the issue what I'm saying is that all these colleagues of ours, for them to call a press conference to block Kenneth, who has just hinted he's going to run for Nairobi, to me, that makes Kenneth come out as a very strong candidate.
Yes, good.
And in fact, what they might end up doing is campaigning for Kenneth, because people are asking, what do they have against Kenneth? Maybe Kenneth has what they don't have, and what they may not be having is the adequate capacity for that position. Okay. So in my opinion, I don't want to say this is a Jubilee position, is my opinion, because I'm in this panel, in this debate.
And you are a campaigner.
Okay, fine. All of us are campaigning for the president, but I'm in the secretariat.
I am not.
All of us in Jubilee are campaigning for the president. I'm not, and I'm not. I don't talk about CORD myself. In fact, I don't think about it.
I'm in the team for CORD.
What I'm saying is that all of us. You see, like when Wamaro came in the scene, I remember I did an opinion on how Wamaro could be a threat to the establishment, and I think it was not received quite well. But I was just we're trying to provoke debate, saying that Wamaro can upstage everybody else, and some people are not happy about it. But I was just telling these people.
And you're saying the same thing about Peter Kenneth.
And I was saying it is easy for someone to be trumped. So while they are fearing Peter Kenneth, maybe they are fearing to be trumped, but what I can ask them is patriotic Jubilee candidates. Let us come out, work together, and support the president. And of course, they are saying among the four, there will be the senator, there will be the deputy governor, there will be everything. Even if they are 6, they can still accommodate one another. So they should open up.
Now we're coming up to the end of our news review, and before we leave you, Bwana Njogu Barua, final comments, 30 seconds, final comments as we wrap up.
Final comment, I would like to say that this is a defining moment in our history. And from last month, this month, Jubilee has put his act in order. Jubilee has got a formula. Jubilee is going to work hard to ensure that it satisfies the needs of Kenyans and the aspirations of Kenyans. The same case I'm saying about people like Nairobi candidates for the governor's position. Instead of saying it's 4 of us, let them face the electorate and put up their agenda to Kenyans. If the agenda is acceptable, they'll be voted. What I'm sure about is that the agenda of Jubilee is going to be convincing. We started 3 years ago. We are the first government to implement the new constitution, which was not an easy task. And I'm sure we are going to overcome all these things. And going to Kirinyaga politics as well. Kirinyaga is also another interesting part. And I ask people of Kirinyaga to have a peaceful campaign. As per now, we have got 3 strong candidates for my constituency. One of them is the sitting governor. There is the Martha Karua.
Iron Lady.
Okay.
Against
there is Waiguru and others coming. So what I would ask to ask people is the coordinator of the presidential campaign in Kirinyaga is let us work, let us do peaceful campaigns. Let us ensure that whatever you do in our campaign does not compromise the turnout in the presidential election. And for Martha Karua, we heard you clearly. You said that the electorate have told you that they want to vote for the president. And I think now is the time has come for you, Honorable Mother, to say, I want these people who want to vote for the president to know that I also support and I will vote for the president.
Okay. Bwana Malo.
Yeah, thank you. I want to confirm to the Kenyans that CORD coalition is very united. We do not have any divisions at all. What we are hearing people saying, they're just entitled to their own opinion. We are very united. And within 3 months or so, we are going to have a flag bearer who is going to give Jubilee a run for their money. And we must be ready to campaign for whoever is going to be, so that in 2017, the CORD coalition is going to take over this government. And lastly, pertaining the date of elections, I know we've been told there are some Jubilee MPs from Mandera who want to change the date of elections. We are saying no. As CORD coalition, we've said no. Elections are going to be on August 8th, and we are ready and prepared like never before to take over this. And we are calling upon on the IBC to move with speed and ensure Kenyans that in terms of preparedness, the programs are moving in order. Of course, we are now awaiting the selection panel to come up with the commissioners. We are trying to tell them to expedite so that we can have the commissioners in place, so that the elections can be prepared accordingly for 2017, so that we can have free and fair elections, so that CORD government can be in place and bring hope to the people of Kenya.
Thank you, Bwana Chris Omalo. We'll allow Bwana Muluka to finish it up, so Chengo.
I wanted to let the Jubilee government know that we know they have been through so much pressure for the last 6 months. Issues of corruption, not doing this and that. And the president has been through so much pressure. But let him be reminded that he's still the commander-in-chief. He needs to act as one. Some decisions cannot be made by him as an individual. Like the decision to pull our troops out of South Sudan, is not a decision that you make just like that. It requires thorough thinking, it requires consultations, it requires a lot of wisdom. It's not something that you react to like someone say, like tweeting. It requires consultations, and we expect that he's going to do that consultation, so that we in court can tell him what we think is right to do in the circumstances. 2, you've seen drought happening as we speak. It's going to be happening up to probably next year March. Let the country be prepared to deal with the aftermath of drought, and we hope that what's being done now, you've seen so many trucks going to Tana River, going to the coast. We don't want to see a scandal again out of interventions that are meant to help Kenyans who are losing their lives because they don't have food and something to eat. That's what I would want to say.
Thank you, Bwana Ochieng. Finally, Bwana Muluka, wrap it up for us.
Yes, taking up from my brother here, the president is the commander-in-chief of the Defense Forces of Kenya. When the Defense Forces of Kenya are out there in the field doing what they have been authorized by various institutions to do, I don't think that it is right to say that the president should come back to consult us as to whether the Defense Forces should come back. I think there comes a time when we must all rally around our flag, when we must all rally around our nation. And when we have been slighted the way we have been slighted, you shouldn't take positions just because you're in government and others are out of government, and therefore you have to run down everything that the president is doing. I think there are processes, there are procedures. If the person who was dismissed was not doing the right thing, the United Nations should have informed the government of Kenya that we are not happy with what is going on, and we think that we need to replace the person who is commanding these forces, and we would like to be separated from this individual. Now, for somebody to come up and start saying that, oh, the president should have come up. Look, he's the commander-in-chief. This is one of the occasions when he is commanding, and he is commanding these people to come back home because he has seen just cause for that. If you flip that on the other side, Deputy President William Ruto has no right to give us prescriptions on what we can discuss and what we cannot discuss. He cannot tell us that we cannot discuss this question. While I aver that the ODM people, and maybe by extension CORD, are wrong in saying that the president has no right to recall the Kenyan troops, by the same token, the deputy president should exercise restraint and refrain from trying to give prescriptions to Kenyans, particularly now as we start getting onto the home stretch to the elections. A lot of things are going to come up for discussion, for examination, and His Excellency the President, the Deputy President, the government must also exercise tolerance. They must be willing to be discussed without rupturing into unnecessary public tantrums and displays of anger.
Okay, thank you so much, Barack Muluka, political analyst, David Ochieng, MP for Ugenya, Chris Omalo, MP for Kiminini, and Jogu Barua, MP for Gishugu, helping us look at the headlines this morning. Do not go away, Power Breakfast continues. The Willis Waburu is on standby to talk to Fila. For me, it's good morning.